Welcome to my first video here, setting up Visual Studio Code. We're going to set up a workspace today. A lot of people have problems setting up their workspaces with VS Code, and VS Code is actually turning into quite the code editor. A lot of companies are trying to get their employees to use Visual Studio Code as a way to basically code almost any language that you use. I use a lot of different languages with VS Code already, and so I'm going to show you guys how to set up a workspace so that more people can start using it. So when you first open Visual Studio Code, you'll get this screen here. It's kind of a welcome screen, basically giving you options on how to set things up and how to go from here to, making things. You have your normal file up here, up top, edit, and different windows and commands and stuff that you can use. But what we're going to start with is creating a folder. So let's go ahead and just open a new folder here. You can either click Open Folder right here in the main page, or you can go to File, Open Folder. So let's go ahead and open a new folder here, and I've already created a new folder called Workspace Setup inside some of my projects here. What you want to do is pick a spot where you want to save this folder workspace and create a new folder in there. We're going to go ahead and just select this folder here. And it's going to go ahead and open up Visual Studio Code a little bit more. It'll open up the Explorer here on the left-hand side. Now I do run Git, and we'll get into that a little bit later in my videos here. And so that's what you'll see this coverage folder for. So don't pay attention to that yet at the moment. So basically, we have now a folder that's open inside of this Visual Studio editor here. Let's go ahead and just create a new file, and we're going to call this a new. Let's say we're making a HTML index page. So we're going to go ahead and just create a new index page here. And I'm just going to keep it simple and just put the basics in it. And then we're going to go ahead and save. And you're inside your folder, and it's going to save it to this folder. So we'll go ahead and save it as index.html here, and you'll see it pop up on the left-hand side. Visual Studio Code is pretty good at all of the extensions and everything else that you need to have for HTML, CSS, and we'll get into those a little bit later here in the workspace setup videos. For the main point here, now that we have a file and a folder inside of it, what we're going to want to do here is go ahead and save the workspace. And that's here. If you go to File, Save Workspace As, go ahead and click Save Workspace As. It's going to take you back to the exact same folder you're working in. And now you can save it anywhere you like, but I do like to keep things kind of together. So if I'm working in a workspace that's inside of a folder, I generally save the workspace in the folder. Now you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and call it Workspace Setup Workspace. And now Visual Studio Code will save this folder as a workspace code folder, or file, inside the folder that you specified. And now you have a workspace that you can actually open. Every time you reopen it, you will have all of the files and folders and everything else that you've added to this workspace in Visual Studio Code. Basically a place saver, saving your spot, and you can add different extensions and different types of attributes to this workspace that allow you to keep things locally in one area. Say that one of your folders is a website front end, say one of them is a C# back end. So you would set up workspaces for the two different ones, and you could have different things, different items in each workspace that all correspond to that specific thing. Check out my next video, setting up VS Code extensions.